Hello and welcome, friends. I hope everybody's having a great day so far. Mine has been going not too bad, I guess. I'm hoping to get a decent amount of time in on this WIP Chat. It's been about 3 weeks and lots has happened, but not lots has happened, if that makes any sense. Currently, though, I did something to my back. I'm not sure if I threw it out or tweaked it the wrong way or something, but it's not very happy right now with me. So that's why I'm hoping I'll get a decent amount of time in on this WIP Chat, because I know I kind of owe you guys that. But yeah, so we'll get here started. I'm using my Bella Art Day Nicole tray. I'm working on Fairy Lights by Ivy Dollamore. I'm down to about the last 2 rows, which it's at this point that it feels like I've been working on it, the last row forever, it seems, but that's because I haven't had as much time as I would like to diamond paint in the last little bit, just because of everything going on, which we'll get into. Using my same pens, however this time I'm giving a glue dot that I had in my scrapbook supplies ago. See if that's something I like or not. I've got my Randa's Crafty Corner Putty in the multi-placers, of course. So yeah, let's get going. If those of you who don't know what a WIP Chat is, it's just where you pull out a work in progress, whether that's a diamond painting, stitching, another craft, whatever you're working on, whether you're trying to get stuff done around the house, and I just chat and catch you all up with what I've been up to. And of course, make sure you have a tasty beverage. I have my coffee, of course, on the go because it's, what time is it now? It's almost 9:30 in the morning. My son's at school. It's Thursday that I'm filming this, but of course you guys won't see it until the Friday, once I've had a chance to kind of edit it up and release it. So yeah, what have I been up to? I know that I've had to postpone things and move things around, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to provide content there for a bit, but I did. I did manage to give you guys some unboxings and stuff that I had filmed and just needed to go in and edit, so I did manage to get that done, which I'm glad I did. I reached my 100 subscriber goal and was able to do my little giveaway that I had planned, and the winner did contact me. She seemed like she was quite happy that she had won and was looking forward to getting her goodies in the mail. So I did mail that off, and they should definitely be on their way to her. Hopefully get them, if she hasn't gotten them already by the end of this week here, she'll get them early next week is what I'm thinking. They told me about 8 business days, but you never know. That's what they say. Sometimes it happens sooner, sometimes there's delays in customs, that sort of thing. So hopefully nothing like that happens. I'm hoping everything goes smoothly and all of that. But yeah, so let's rewind. This has been April. April has kind of escaped me in a lot of ways, but that's what my last WIP Chat was at the end of March there, so yeah. April has just been one big mass of things happening. I was trying to go back and after looking at my last WIP Chat and kind of figure out, okay, what happened when, so I don't have exact days things happen necessarily, because unfortunately 3 weeks is a lot for my little, not my little mind, my mind's not little, for my mind to kind of keep track of with everything that's been going on, and it's just been a roller coaster of emotions as well. So it's been some of the weeks have been rougher than others for sure. yeah, so I guess I'll just dive in and get you telling the good and the bad and all of that. So beginning of April was still going pretty good. My stepdad had his birthday, which we celebrated by going to what has become one of our favorite spots to kind of eat out. It's great service, good food, close to on the side of the city that's close to us, close to my parents, all of that good stuff. It's not exactly necessarily the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive place to eat either. So that's kind of a win-win. And then it's got some items on the menu that you don't always get to eat at home. It's the place is called Home Fire, and they are probably one of my favorite restaurants that we've discovered. They actually serve game meat, and so they've got bison. They've got a couple of different bison dishes that you can eat. They've also got some elk, so they serve some game meat, and then they've got regular dishes. If you're not as kind of adventuresome, so they've got regular dishes with chicken and all of that kind of stuff too, so you can find something for everybody very easily. And so we ate there for his birthday, and I ended up having the bison burger, which comes on like just a regular kind of potato bun, and then it has of course the patty's bison, and then it had a Saskatoon berry relish that they use with it, which pairs very lovely with the bison meat, of course. Gives a little bit of a tartness and a sweetness with the way they make it. And then also something that we always have to get when we go is their bannock. And they don't fry it like you would think, but it's made fresh daily. Not by them, it's they get it made for them, but it's made fresh daily and dropped off for them, and then they serve it with a very, very delicious whipped maple butter. So that's something that we order a basket and then just share it around the table for whoever wants some. So of course we did that, and it was nice. My parents picked up a little Duplo kind of farm set for my son to kind of keep busy. So it came with a pig, a sheep, a duck and a cat, a little hay bale, and a little kind of barn with a door. And so that kept him quite amused at the table. And it was a popular hit. He came home and played with it that evening as well. And then probably played with it straight for like a good week solid before he finally kind of started playing with some other stuff again. So that was a huge hit for him. He loved that. So that was the birthday celebration, which was nice. It was my parents, me, my hubby, my son, and my one aunt who lives in the city, who all went for that. And then what was it, the following week, if anybody remembers, I haven't really talked much about it, but I'm going to talk about it now. And for anybody who's sensitive, or if this is triggering for them, it does kind of talk about, I am going to be talking about somebody who was terminally ill and passed away. So if that's a trigger for you, before I kind of get into my details and experience with that, and what that looked like for us as a family, then go watch another one of my WIP Chats or videos, or whatnot, or stick around. There is some nice stuff in there too. Don't worry about that. But I'm onto this now. My uncle, which is my mom's brother, I had originally been living with my aunt, which is their sister, after he had his diagnosis, which at one point they had only given him 6 months to live. His diagnosis was cancer. It was the type that they couldn't go in and remove. It was metastasizing and spreading in his body and stuff like that. So it was a matter of time, and at one point it was very aggressive, and they gave him about 6 months. And so that's about when he moved in with my aunt. And believe it or not, he went through treatments, he did trials, and it prolonged his life quite a bit. Gave him more time with his kids, his grandkids, family, us, all of that for quite some time. Probably good, what did we figure, 5 years, which was amazing. We all thought it was only going to be 6 months at one time. So we were very, very fortunate and very lucky to have that extra time with him. Definitely not something we expected. But he had been living with her for a while, and then he started declining again a couple months back. And sorry, I'm just looking for a symbol and whatnot here. Okay, I found it. He had started kind of declining again, to the point that he wasn't able to really leave the house or anything. His feet were swelling up. He was having a harder time getting around. He wasn't keeping things down easily. His taste buds were changing, and so food wasn't as tasty, and he stuff like that. But he welcomed visitors, obviously, and he was very happy when anybody came over to visit him at my aunt's place. But then there was where he ended up getting really bad pain, to the point that it was no longer manageable at home at that point, and so he agreed, through the emergency medical services, who had, I guess, spent 20 minutes, had given him some morphine, got his pain under control. Like I said, after about 20 minutes, so quite some time. And they said, you're kind of at a point where maybe you want to consider this. They can manage your pain better, stuff like that. And so that was kind of their recommendation, and they could kind of speedline the process based off where he was at physically and with his terminal diagnosis. So he agreed, and the next day they found him a spot out in Stony Plain, which is about a half-hour, 40-minute drive from the city where I am, the city of Edmonton. So not super far for us to visit, but my cousins, which are his boys, and their families are out there, so he was closer to them, which was, I think, really good and great timing for that. So they were able to spend some more time with him while he was in hospice. I didn't get out to visit him right away, just because being in the city with my son, all of that, it was a little bit harder for me to coordinate. But when I had seen him before he went in, I knew he was kind of declining, and so I told my mom next time that she does go out, that I wouldn't mind if she, next time she kind of goes out during the day or an evening when my hubby was home, that, you know, I would like to get out and get in a visit with him. Found out he was declining again, and sleeping quite a bit and stuff like that, and so I figured, okay, well, sooner than later would be good. So of course I planned for that. And so I went out and did that. When we got out there, he was sleeping. And we didn't want to wake him up. We were just kind of sitting there. We didn't think he was going to wake up while we were visiting either. So we just kind of chatted among ourselves, and the nurse came in to give him his pain meds, and so we were talking with her for a little bit too, and just kind of asking her some questions. And I just remember him lying in the hospice bed, and he didn't look like himself. He had lost so much weight. He was nothing but skin and bones. Sorry, this drill doesn't want to race. There we go. He just really looked like a skeleton laying in a bed at this point. The sunken cheeks, the sunken eyes, just so skinny that you could see his ribs. And I mean, he was never skinny like that. And it was hard. It was hard to see him that way. Definitely. You know, I just, that's the best way I can put it. It was difficult. And, my mom started cleaning up his room a bit, because that's what she does. She can't sit still. So she started cleaning up his room for a bit, and we chatted, and eventually he did wake up, and my mom went right to the bedside, held his hand, was talking with him, told him I was there. He kind of perked up, wanted me to come over to his bedside, so I did. I went over to his bedside, and he wanted a hug, but he was very worried I was going to hurt him, and I said, don't worry, I'll be gentle. Gave him a very, very light hug. And my uncle's not normally a very, or at least you don't see it, he's not, sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional just thinking about it, but he's not really a very emotional guy. But I gave him the hug, and he was so happy to see me there. He told me, thank you for coming. And normally when you would pull away and stop a hug, he just held my hand, and I held his. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize it was going to be this emotional. I probably should have saved the story for a bit later. But he just held my hand, and I held his. And I remember him giving me this tight, tight squeeze. And he just didn't, you could tell he just didn't want to let go. And in that moment, I was so glad he had woken up, and I was able to say hi, and I was able to say hi and talk to him for a little bit. He was even still lucid enough at that point to ask how my son was doing and what he was learning in school, and he thought that was so great. And he was like, his mind was sharp as a tack still. And so we probably had a good half-hour visit with him. And I knew this was going to be the last time, or my last chance, that I was going to see him. And I was so thankful that I went, and even though it was hard, it was something that I think gave some closure. I was able to let him know I was there supporting him. I told him I loved him. And I could just tell he was so happy I came. And so we had to head back into the city. And after that point, he declined even further. I think it was only a day or two later. All he did was sleep. He never really woke up anymore. They had to switch up his pain meds a bit. And he just continued to deteriorate after that point. And we went through a point where we knew it was only going to be a matter. It could have been hours, days, weeks. We weren't 100% sure, but we knew it was only a matter of time. And so I remember that was the point where I wasn't sleeping much. I kept waking up. I had a hard time falling asleep at night, and I kept waking up, checking my phone, checking my text messages, all that kind of stuff to see if there was any news. But he was hanging in, and he was strong still. They kept saying that, you know, other than his cancer and his terminal illness weakening his body, his heart was still very strong. And so that's what was kind of keeping him going. And I even remember, like, when he was holding my hand, that tight squeeze, I was so surprised by how much strength he actually had. Because he did not look like he could have that strength. And I think that was about a week after the visit. He finally passed. And it happened at 6:30 in the morning. He passed away. His pain and suffering was over. Which, it's never easy losing someone you love, as you can tell. I'm trying to compose myself a bit, but it's not easy. I'm talking, but it's not easy. But he passed, and my mom let me know. Not even about half hour later, she called, and I knew. And I just remember, as I said, it's tough losing somebody, but a part of me felt relieved, really, is probably the best way of putting it. There was a relief knowing his pain and suffering was over. And my mom had asked him before he passed if Grandma was there with him at any point while he was in hospice, and he said, yeah, she's here with me. So she was there with him. And I'm sure they're together now. Oh, God. I'm sure they're together now and smiling down on us and just watching us, and I know my uncle still had his sense of humor. He was still cracking jokes till he couldn't crack them anymore, until he was sleeping all the time, which just blew us away that, you know, here he is laying frail in bed and he's cracking jokes. But yeah, he had a wicked sense of humor, and he didn't want anybody to dwell or hang on to the fact that he was terminally ill. He just wanted to live life as normally as he could and be treated as normally. He didn't want anybody to feel sorry for him or anything, and so that's definitely something we did. We just kept on keeping on like it was the norm, like that he didn't have that diagnosis. And I mean, with all the treatments he went through, that he definitely got extra time, which was a blessing. And that's really all I can say about that. And because of that, we're not really doing a traditional funeral service for him. It's going to more be a casual memorial kind of celebration of life. And that'll be happening next weekend. My aunt from Nova Scotia came up like that weekend that the weekend he had passed. She didn't wait to book her trip. So she's here now. She's staying with my other aunt. And we're going to be getting together, I guess, for dinner next week. Just us girls, or us women in the family, which I'm looking forward to that. My sister will be up by then, and my niece is coming up from southern Alberta as well. So that's something I'll be looking forward to, is spending time with those ladies. And my cousin's wives are gonna drive in from Stoney and come as well. And because they're out in Stoney, I don't get to see them too terribly often. And they're busy. Their kids play hockey and stuff like that, so usually I see them at family gatherings, but it'll be nice. I'm looking forward to that, which is good. Something to look forward is always good as well. My uncle, yeah, I think he would like that. So that's kind of I guess the bad, but I mean, there was some good in that. There was definitely some good. So yeah, the last week has just been getting back to a little bit of normal routine. Obviously he's passed now, so there's no more hospice visits, and families coming in from out of town to be here for the memorial celebration of life. So yeah, it's really just kind of getting back into the routine of things. Grieving, even though it was expected, and I had an amazing opportunity to tell him I loved him and show him that by being there for him. And I had that chance, which gave, I think, a little bit of closure. As much closure as you can possibly get, I guess. Not everybody gets that chance to say goodbye, but I did, and I'm thankful for that. yeah, so it's just kind of getting back to the daily grind of things, and I have moments I miss him. Like at Easter, even though he was still with us, he was in the hospice, so he wasn't able to actually join our Easter dinner or anything like that. And it'll be, I mean, it'll be a process. It'll be, well, I'll definitely have days that are easier, some days that are harder. One thing that I remember him with fondness was his love of music. He played the guitar, and I can't think of the name of the songs, but it was like the Superman never saved any money, saving the world from Solomon Grundy. And then there was also the American Pie song that are all kind of very folky storytelling. He often sang those around the campfire. Campfires or fire pits in backyards, family gatherings, and I just loved hearing him play his guitar and sing. And I'll miss those moments, definitely. I remember when I was really little and he was still with my cousin's mom. And we would go over for family dinners, and then the evenings were often spent in the backyard around a fire pit, and he would be on his guitar singing. I would climb one of their trees in the backyard, and I remember just sitting up there, up in the tree, listening. And then when it got too cold up in the tree, I'd come down and join them by the fire. But that was one of my favorite things to do, was just sit up there and listen. Yeah, so I guess that's really mainly it about that. I don't want to stay talking about that for this whole WIP Chat, of course. And I know this is kind of bouncing all over the place a little bit, just because of timeline and everything. I didn't really want to break up the story of our experience with him in the hospice and that last kind of initial week or two that we had with him, which was difficult. But also meant so much to him and to me and to everybody who got their visits in, I'm sure. Other than that, there was I had a update meeting with my son's home nutrition dietitian. We had discussed our concerns with her about when he was really sick, that he had gotten skinnier because he wasn't keeping his food down at the time, and we had him on some Pedialyte to keep him kind of hydrated for a couple of days during that time, because he wasn't keeping anything down and he kept throwing up. But he had lost quite a bit of weight. He had been in a really good percentile for his age, but he went down quite a bit. And so we had discussed those concerns with her, and he's a very active little guy as well. So we discussed that with her, and she increased his calorie intake. So his food intake and all of that had us weigh him here at home shortly after she decided to do the increase, and then we did that for about a month, and then had our follow-up Zoom meeting with a new weight, whatever he was at a month later kind of thing. And she was quite happy. He had gained and was now back to not where he should be, but back to where he was before he got sick. So she was quite happy with that progress. And so we're keeping his feeds at the increase because he is active, and she wants him back following that percentile curve that he was following prior to all of that. And she knows his history when he gets sick and all of that. And that's just something he does when he gets sick. It's his stomach acts up, and we have issues with his feeds, and it's something he's kind of proven to us time and time again over the years. It's his, as we call it, it's Riley's thing. That's my son's name. But she was quite happy with the progress, which I was happy. That made me feel good. I like knowing that we're on the right track, and that our concern was valid, and that they worked with us to get him to where he needs to be, or at least a good start to where he needs to be. So that happened. And then, yeah, that's pretty much about it. I don't have much more to add. Life has been kind of up and down and taking a day at a time these last few weeks. Starting to, other than the grieving process, things have settled down a little bit. And getting back into the daily grind of things. So that's always good. And I will hopefully not need a break, especially now that I know the service and all of that is on the weekend, and that eases my mind a little bit. I wasn't sure how much I was going to have to juggle. I'm still taking it very much a day at a time. Doing what I need to, doing some self-care as I need to. Obviously now with my back acting up, I'm kind of taking it a little bit easy. Doing the physical stuff anyways. And just kind of moving between sitting and standing and moving around as I can handle. Finding that balance that backs require when they're misbehaving. So I've just been doing a lot of self-care when I need to. Because of everything, I normally do play testing for the Frozen District gaming company. They're mainly their House Flipper franchise series that they have, and they just released the Farm DLC. I would have had the chance to play test that, but unfortunately with everything going on, I just didn't have the time. But I still was looking very forward to the DLC. I had seen some kind of pre-gameplay, the excitement in the testing server, of course. Things like that. So I was looking forward to its release. My hubby was kind enough to get it for me, so I have it, and I had a chance to play it, which kind of, I hadn't had a chance to really play any games frequently, and of course with diamond painting, a lot of times it's choosing, do I play a game or do I diamond paint, and so sometimes I don't game as much, but it renewed my my love of gaming, and I missed it, and so there were some evenings that I forgoed my diamond painting and I played, and it was nice. It's a game, it kind of sounds like it is. You buy a house and you flip it and you resell it, or you can turn it into your office in the game, that sort of thing, and they have so many great DLCs with it. Pets, luxury, farm, they even have apocalypse one, so then they've got properties with bunkers that you can kind of do up as if there was going to be like some sort of downfall or earth situation, and kind of prep it. And so it's lots of fun. I play around with, I used to mod workshop items for the game. I've kind of stepped back from that when I got into diamond painting. Just, once again, only so much time, so many things I enjoy. And so I kind of stepped back from doing that side of things. But I still use all the wonderful creators' items, and I've made friends when I was doing mods for the game too, so I mean, I still use all their stuff and support them making those items. Definitely. So yeah, I've just gotten back into some gaming a bit. It's a game because you're kind of flipping a house. You can decorate it however you want. With the workshop items, it adds extra items to the game for you to use. So it's a very relaxing game, I find. So I've gotten back into playing that a little bit. I finished reading a novel that I had put off to the side for the longest time. I finished it up last night. I had taken a bath because of my lower back bugging me to hopefully loosen up the muscles a bit and kind of do all of that. So I started reading it again in the bath, and then it was at a good part in the book, and so I ended up finishing it last night. And that was, I hadn't done that in a while. I hadn't sat and read in a while, so that was nice. And I love my books and love my reading, and as I have so many to read books, but once again, it's only so much free time. And what do I focus on? What do I work on in that free time? That sort of thing. So yeah, so I've just kind of been, like I said, doing some self-care and getting back into some of those things that I haven't done in a while, which has been nice. And then, of course, interacting in the crafty groups. I'm still working away on this canvas for Diamond Painting Fanatics Spring Flings event. I'm working on a bird and an apple tree for Diamond Grandmas. My garden event. New to the channel, however, I did do a community tab post about this, but I created an Amazon, well actually I didn't just create it, I've kind of reorganized it a little bit, put it over to more of a channel type wish list than a personal wish list. and then made it public. But I created an Amazon wish list, which I will link down in the description below. Bleh. I don't want anybody to feel obligated or pressured, especially if it's not something you can afford. But if you're inspired to, or you would like to, it would obviously be greatly appreciated. You can go and buy something off of there and send it my way, and I can open it up on the channel, and I can do it as friend mail, unboxing, work on it, do reviews on it, and it's just a way for you to show the channel some support and some extra love, and it'll help me provide some additional content as well when I can't always afford to. I mean, I would love to buy everything off my wish list right now, but that of course won't happen, so that'll also give me a chance to maybe get things off there a little bit more frequently, depending, but definitely don't feel obligated. I will link that in this description below, and I'll continue to link it in future videos, so it will always be easy to find. So I figured I would just announce that, because that's a new thing for the channel, a new thing that I've done, and yeah, so that's about all I can really update you on right now. But I'm glad to have gotten this WIP Chat out. I know it took a while, and I'm so sorry about that. Things have just been all over the place. I've been all over the place, up and down emotionally. I'm sorry for my little cry fest. I was not expecting that. I thought I would have held it together a lot better, but I guess I'm still... Well, that's the grief process for you. I'm still kind of healing and going through it, even though I knew it was coming. Yeah, and I just hope everybody has a great weekend, has a great week, 2 weeks, because that'll be the next time that I do another WIP Chat. Yeah, and happy diamond painting, everybody. That's about all I can really say, and I will see everybody in the next video. Have a great one. Bye.